Hello and welcome to level 65 of the Thoughts and Players podcast, the gaming podcast with bold takes and no strings attached. I am Jeremy, here with my two compadres, of course. I have David.
What up?
And I have Cory.
I'm all business.
Cory is all business today, coming off of two consecutive last place finishes in the PvP edition of Thoughts and Players. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, it's back. We did two regular discussion ones just to kind of get, Cory's insight, get him rolling back into the steam of things, the roll of things. But we're back. Cory's roaring to redeem himself. I am here. David is going to be the moderator, judge, jury, and executioner of this PvP edition. So, without further ado, David, it is yours.
All right. So we're gonna have some hard hitters this time. So I hope you guys did your preparations.
Oh, I did. We're ready.
All right, good. So this first question, it honestly blew my mind that this is what the name of it is, and I just don't understand it. So my first question is, the new Mortal Kombat was announced as MK1. What do you guys think of the naming process of the current industry?
Jeremy, as the current champion, I will let you dictate whether you want to start the debates first or second, and then we'll go back and forth between that. But
you start this one first.
I'll start this one.
Yeah.
David, the way you just introduced that question makes me want to do the opposite answer of what I'm going to say. It does not seem like you like that naming convention, but maybe I can change your mind a little bit. Now, the video game industry is at this point 40 years old, 45 years old, something like that, right?
At least,
yeah, something like that. So anyways, and games tend to stick with franchises and they go on a long time, right? So in theory, this is Mortal Kombat like 13, 14, 15, Final Fantasy is at 16.
It'd be 12.
Okay, so at some point these titles get too big. The numbers get too big. And as the industry gets older, you're looking to get a new audience in. And same thing kind of like with movies. You don't want to jump into a game that's 12 games in, or Final Fantasy. I know they're all separate, but when someone reads that title, they're like, oh, there's 16 games in. Not everyone's a seasoned gamer that's been gaming since Mortal Kombat 1. So this gives you kind of like, it tells the audience all they need to know. This is a refresh of this series. If you've never played Mortal Kombat and you want to jump in, perfect opportunity to come in. Now, if I could give you a personal example of something like this helped me go with, God of War 1, 2, and 3 on the PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 3. I wasn't a fan of. Didn't really play them at all. Played a little bit. I didn't care for the franchise. Not saying that the naming convention helped me step into it, but it did give me that idea that, hey, this is a fresh start. And if you're interested, you can jump in now and it's okay. So when God of War 2018 came out, played it and I loved it. And I think that'll be the case for a lot of people that play this new Mortal Kombat. They know they're not jumping into the middle or the end of a story. It's going to be a little bit of a refresh. And I think that's good for people, consumers buying it, and the company. They can start over again and kind of like reuse all those old stories and stuff. So win-win for the consumer and the company.
All right. I'm gonna give you 2 points for that because I didn't think about people being overwhelmed by the huge number that some games may have at this point.
Big numbers are scary, man.
They terrify me.
Yeah, I'll jump in here. I'll admit this is one I don't really have a strong opinion on, but I will say that MK1, all right. I mean, like they're doing a refresh or reboot of the series. And, they kind of want to, I guess they can maybe push things in a different direction as far as, the relationships and the different dynamics where they have a different character. This allows them to create a completely different narrative and pantheon of heroes and hero dynamics based upon this refresh. Where in the previous one, you got to kind of stick to what was being set before and different things like that. I mean, look, everyone wants to refresh, make things new again. Everyone's rebooting. No one's making original ideas anymore. This kind of runs in that same theme of, hey, we're just going to refresh something that existed before and put our spin on it. So, prepare for a bunch of different things they're going to do with different characters. They're going to explore different relationships in different ways with different characters, because that's just how everyone wants to do everything nowadays. But I think it coincides with, the rest of the industry. Bro, same with the entertainment industry, right? Like the movie industry, essentially, what I'm saying. Like, it's all the same. It's a reboot, refresh. What was it? A few years ago, they did like a remake movie of Chips. Oh, we're just going to call it Chips. We won't call it anything else. I mean, it's the same thing. It's not a lot of creativity put there, but then again, I don't really know what else they could do with something like Mortal Kombat. I think this gives them the chance. I mean, didn't Mortal Kombat by the end 12? You're saying it would have been like 11, 12? Didn't it kind of feel tedious? Like, I feel like this may allow them to take some of that tedious feeling away from with the refresh. They could, though, they may end up doing the opposite and making it more tedious. That's also a possibility, but I think that's what they're aiming to try to do too.
Okay, I'll give you a point for that one, because it was well said.
Thanks.
I don't know. Do you have any more to say, Jeremy? It's a pretty cut and dry question, but
yeah.
I could always talk more if we need. I will say that I don't really enjoy the naming convention. I don't like looking back at games, and I'm kind of a statistics guy, as you are, David. I'm kind of like a history buff, so I don't think I'm gonna like going back in 20 years and looking like, let me look up God of War, and it's like, well, which one do you want? It would be a lot easier if I think maybe they just did a subtitle to it. God of War Rebirth, Mortal Kombat Rebirth, a subtitle that's after that main thing to kind of let the audience know, hey, this is a refresh.
But I mean, what do you name it after that? Like Mortal Kombat Rebirth 2, Mortal Kombat Rebirth, Mortal Kombat Rebirth Redemption?
It doesn't have to be Rebirth. We saw this with going back to movies. New movies are a great example of how to handle this, because movies have been around a lot longer. But you had something like the Halloween franchise, Halloween 1, 2, 3, blah, 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 blah. They rebooted the Halloween franchise. Instead of not getting rid of number 1, they said, okay, here's the sequel to number 1 again. And it was like Halloween Kills or something, or Halloween The Death or something. It can be a subtitle, and that will kind of let the audience know, hey, it's a little bit separate, but it does correlate with that original property.
I think when you're doing that, much like Halloween, you're kind of signaling towards being like towards a dying franchise.
I mean, it's not dying because it's been around for 20, 30 years. It's not dying, but it's getting so convoluted. And like I said, you have new audience coming in. They can't really, you can't go with that much lore. You can't read or watch 30 years of lore. So.
Right. That's true.
All right, let's move on to the next one. This one is, I feel like, pretty debatable. People who only mobile game, phone apps, Candy Crush, stuff like that, are they gamers?
I believe it all rests in the intention of your experience. Okay, get a little philosophical here. If you're playing Candy Crush because, oh man, I got to go get this crown done. Let me sit in this office and play some Candy Crush real quick. Nah, you're not a gamer, because you could be twiddling your thumb, you could be slapping your thigh, whatever else. You're just trying to focus your mind on something else. But if you're like, hey, I want to play Candy Crush because I want to get this many jewels to get this thing, whatever. Oh, you're a gamer. You're a gamer. It's all about the intention. Are you seeking to accomplish something within the game? Or are you simply seeking to just find something else to take your mind off the anxiety or off the boredom of doing something, right? If I'm sitting down or laying down and I fire up some Legend of Slime, which is a new mobile game I'm playing, right?
I've seen somebody ask for that.
Yeah.
Is it good?
It's not bad.
Okay.
When I'm firing that up so I can level up my slime. I can get new companions. I can do all that. I'm not doing that because, oh man, I got to find something to do to zone out so I can go to sleep, or, oh man, I really don't want, I'm trying to find something else to do besides just be in the game. And if I think if you're doing it with that intention, with that reason, yeah, you are a gamer. You know what I'm saying? But if you're doing something if you're doing it when you could be easily doing something else, to get the same, like just passing time, I don't think you're really gaming with intention. You're just trying to find something else to do, and your device gives you the easiest access to finding that other thing to do.
Very good. I'll give you a point for that. I actually didn't even think of intention being a prime example of gaming or being a gamer or not.
Corey, I'm looking at you. You seem very eager to be wrong.
I'm ready. I'm not going to be wrong. But what's that? Gatekeeping, right? Gatekeeping. Who in the world are you to gatekeep who is a gamer and who's not a gamer? If you play any kind of video game, and a video game, me and my brother had a huge debate at work when I was talking to him on the phone about this exact question. So very good debatable question, David. Who are you to gatekeep who is a gamer or not? If you play a game, whether it's to cure boredom or to achieve a goal or to get a high score or just to look at pretty images and music, you are a gamer. We are not going to gatekeep anybody. If you like to play games and you're enjoying yourself, you are a gamer. We are not trying to exclude anyone from this club. We want everybody to be a part of this, whether you're a mobile gamer, whether you're a Nintendo Switch gamer, whether you game on only a NES and you only play old games and you never even touch new games. You are a gamer if you play games. There's no way that you can tell someone, hey, you only doing this because you're trying to stop your boredom. You're not a gamer. No, that's not true, because there might be some try-hard Call of Duty people that say, hey, Jeremy, you only play strategy games? You're not really a gamer unless you're doing competitive FPS. Certainly not true. Something like The Sims or Animal Crossing as well. Is that not gaming? Of course that's gaming. We all know that's gaming. And that kind of has like a laissez-faire attitude to the type of gameplay that it provides. It's kind of like, do what you want, enjoy yourself. It's still gaming.
Point for that, because I expected you to gatekeep a little bit.
No, come to the hobby. Everyone that's part of the hobby, we love it. More listeners for us, right?
You know Eventually. What? I'm liking this, I think, uphill battle I've created. David, I'm going to convince you to become an elitist. So follow me here. So for one, we're trying to get everyone into the hobby. We're trying to make it as inclusive as possible. No, we're not, buddy. And I'll let you know why. Because when you bring everyone in, it drags it down. Look at social media. Facebook was so much better when you could only get in there because you had a college email. As soon as you started letting everyone and their parents in there and a bunch of conspiracy theories started floating around, Facebook fell into the tank. It's with a lot of things. You have to cultivate an experience, right? And if you want to say, hey, I'm being a gamer, right? The least I'm asking is that you're gaming with intention, that you have the intention to be gaming. What are you trying? Just what are you doing? If you're on your phone and you're someplace and you're like, hey, I want to play this game because I enjoy playing it, you're gaming, buddy. If you're saying, hey, I'm just gonna fire this game up because a second ago I was staring into the sun and I almost blinded myself, so now I'm gonna find something else to do. Let me go ahead and fire up some Candy Crush. That's intention. That's intention to cure boredom. That is intention. They want to play that for a reason. That's intention to cure. That's intention to cure boredom. That is not intention to game. And that's okay. Those games cure boredom, and it helps them, and they go to it. And eventually, those people might say, "You know what? I've been playing a lot of Candy Crush. Let's see what else this app has to offer." And they might stumble onto something like Vampire Survivors, and then they might go to PC gaming. Who knows where this will lead them? But they can never get there if you tell them, you're not a true gamer, buddy. Stick to Candy Crush. Do not cross those picket lines. They can easily get there because they don't need my approval of them being gamers in order to progress into being gamers. I'm just asking, don't stop them. There are gamers. That's the glory. I'm not stopping them. If they happen to fire up Vampire Survivors because they're bored, right? And then they're like, oh, actually, I really like this game and I like playing it. They immediately become gamers. And then if they're like, I want to go ahead and journey to playing it on PC, then again, they're doing their gamer progression. If you can give me a line that they have to cross to become gamers, then maybe I'll concede this argument. But to me, it's very nebulous. Like you're talking about if you're in a dentist office and you just turn on Candy Crush, that doesn't make you a gamer. But once you leave the dentist, if you go home and then turn on Candy Crush, well, then you're probably a gamer. No, it's not if you go home. If you're in a dentist's office and you fire up Candy Crush because you're just trying to seek because you read through Oprah magazine. I don't know if they even make those anymore. And you're just trying to find something else. Or if you fire up Candy Crush because you're like, oh, hey, I have this free 15, 20 minutes, and I've been wanting to play this game, and I want to beat this game, and I want to make some progress on it. That's her differentiator. They can be in the same space going to achieve the same thing. It's the intention of what you're doing with the mobile games that differentiates being a gamer versus not being a gamer. I'm just saying that it takes a intentional, it has to be intentional, and it has to be conscious that you are going into the game for the merits of the game and trying to make it that way, rather than I'm just trying to find a thing to do while I'm waiting for another thing. That's all I'm saying.
I'm saying that's a really tough line to put down, because at that point you can get people that game a lot more than us that telling us, hey, unless you do this thing, you're not a gamer. And I don't think that's fair. So
life isn't fair, buddy.
I see both points. I get what Jeremy is saying. I really do like what he is saying. Actually, it's all about intention. You know, if you're playing the game just to get by the next 10 minutes until the next thing you're gonna do, yeah, I could see it. It's, you know, you could be scrolling Facebook for 10 minutes and have just the same type of.
But they're not scrolling Facebook. They have chosen to play that game,
yeah,
and that's what makes them a gamer.
Facebook,
but that's
all day.
But that's what makes them the gamer, the choice of the game. They could be doing Facebook, right. They could be texting, they could be watching a video. They chose to play Candy Crush. No matter what the intentions once they're in Candy Crush, they originally made that choice, and that's what makes them a gamer.
Okay, so I was gonna say I also agree with you, Corey, because if you're opening a game, is because you want to play that game. So I see and accept what you both are saying. So whether or not I agree with one. I'm not the one debating here. I'm just throwing out some judgment.
Fair.
All right, we'll call it. Any last words for this one?
No.
I don't think so. I think I've made myself well known, and I think I've made myself a pariah in many areas of the gaming community with my stance.
All right, it's a high possibility. We'll move on though. This one's kind of a big one. So we all know kids game a lot, and a lot of games are geared towards kids. Now, kids gaming for hours at a time and their mental well-being, is gaming a good, bad, or neutral type of thing for children?
This is tough, man. There's like scientists paid to like research this and figure it out, and you're asking us. It's a tough one, but I'm gonna have to go with the neutral thing, because everything can be good or bad depending on how much you do of something or how little you do of something. But a couple of big things that gaming does provide that kind of push it into the good aspect is, I think it really helps kids reading. Like, I think a lot of us started playing Pokemon and that big RPG with all the writing in it. We're like, man, we gotta step up our reading game. We want to play this game. We gotta learn how to read. With the advance of online gaming, it really does help with social skills and kind of talking to other people and communication and teamwork. Kids aren't playing sports as much as they used to, I would believe. So video games is really a way to like deal with wins and losses and teamwork and just kind of communicating. And those are good things. Now, obviously, if you're playing for hours on end, David, I know you've talked about it on the podcast, not to bring it up, but like you were addicted to like sweets or something, right? Like, kids at a very young age could easily get addicted to video games where they don't want to do anything else. They come home, they play video games, they don't worry about homework or school or physical activity. And that's obviously a horrible thing, and you don't want to do that. So really, it's up to the parents to kind of monitor and provide their kids with the needs they have and kind of talk with them and just give them maybe a time limit, or if you trust your kid, hey, play, but make sure you get your other stuff done. So it's a neutral. There's definitely goods to it. There's definitely bad parts to it, but yeah, that's it.
Okay. I give you a point for that one, because one, you were talking about skills in life that matter, like the reading in Pokemon. And that point is also towards like the bad. You say, they can be addicted and they have no desire to do anything else.
I'm gonna float on the mostly negative. So one good thing I'll give, in addition to all the good things, positive things that Cory talked about, is that video gaming really provides a tangible outlet for kids to exercise creativity. So I'm thinking about games like Minecraft or Roblox or something like that. Maybe even a Fortnite. It allows them to really express and get into that creative part of it. Why I say it's mostly negative is because the game industry that we grew up in is not the game industry of today. Because not only are games able to kind of really instill those bad addictive habits in kids, like not only does it do that, it now works fervently to invent ways and protect the means of monetizing it. So it's not just a matter of, hey, you can be addicted to this game. Hey, give us a couple of virtual currency or whatever, and you can get this nice little, animation box that springs up and looks like a slot machine, and is kind of putting that, dopamine kind of cycle and loop into kids at a very young age. That's very damaging and incredibly hard to get rid of, as you're young and even as you age to become an adult. I think that generally the games that kids would have more access to, the games that are a lot more widespread, tend to have more predatory systems within them to try to take advantage of that. I also think it's the same thing I kind of mentioned back with social media. It provides an avenue to socialize, but it can be really negative and really damaging to kids, kind of like their image of themselves and their identity and who they believe they are. And that's just a tricky slope, because it's becoming harder and harder to try to mediate and get rid of those things. There's strides being made there, but it's becoming incredibly bad. We talked about the gaming industry having a really toxic element to it, and I think it kind of shows itself the most in those areas of socialization. So I mean, there's obvious positives, and I think if you're able to put kids in a position, obviously the family and parents being involved, where you can kind of better curtail and curate that experience for them, where they experience way more of the positive than the negative, then it can be a net positive. But I think just the way that gaming is set up now and where it's going, it would have a overall negative effect on kids' psyche and just the way they think about themselves.
Very well said. I'm throwing you 2 points on that one, because one, the negativity, I bring it up a lot, and a lot of people say nowadays, like, oh, Gen Z couldn't last in a Modern Warfare 2 360 lobby because of how toxic those lobbies were, and it actually hasn't really got better. And as you're saying, how they see themselves and how they feel, and like Cory said, with winning and losing, the sore winners online is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I see that, and as you were saying, addictive and stuff, so like with the loot boxes and we have this shiny thing. If you give us $15, it just really
Right.
brings out the dopamine. Like, oh, I got this. Oh, it's just so cool. And like,
Yeah, but
open up the
my
box,
Madden
get the
Ultimate Team
legendary.
sucks, Mom and Dad. I really got to spend more money on packs.
Exactly, and then
boom.
as they get older and they get their own money and they start spending their own money, and now it's not only mental health, it's now their pocket health.
Yeah.
So it was well said statement.
Trying to think, wasn't there a story, I think a couple of years ago, about a guy that had spent over $1 million on FIFA Ultimate Team packs and didn't even realize he spent that much? He's like, I didn't $1 million, and he wasn't like a millionaire. He was just passively spending his money on that stuff, and then looked back and he was like, whoa, what? It may have been $1 million, maybe like 100,000. It was something ridiculous.
Yeah, it just adds up. But if you're only spending $5-10 at a time, you don't see that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't totally disagree with Jeremy. Obviously, I listed some negatives, but to lean towards the negative aspect, you're kind of telling me that if a kid grows up playing a lot of video games, that it will have a negative impact on his life more than it will have a positive. And I don't agree with that, with all the benefits they have and good parenting, because that's number one. If you have bad parenting, no matter what your kid does, it's going to be a negative thing. You know, there's nothing that can stop bad parenting. So as long as you have that parenting there, then the video games won't have as much of a negative effect. Obviously, you're still going to see the things like the loot boxes, but as a parent, you got to be there. I think the goods outweigh the bad. You mentioned Minecraft and the creativity. Like that's something like kids could only do with Legos back in the day, and kids these days, when you see the things that they are building in Minecraft with like the redstone and these inventions, it's just like these kids are smart and they're learning so much because of games like this. And I think that is more of a positive than any of the negatives could be.
I would just add lastly, I think if you're comparing what kids could be doing with their time in video games compared to when we were growing up as kids, as far as now, I think there's a lot other more positive avenues for kids to express and invest their time and energy in rather than video games compared to when we were younger. There's just more things they can be doing that can be more constructive to their overall well-being. At least now it feels like compared to back then. So that's why I put a little bit more of a negative on it as well.
Okay. I gave Cory another point for that last one because of more, not just like life skills, but like teaching themselves and like learning how to like make things, and that extends their creativity, and I think that can be put into other aspects of life. Like I shouldn't have been playing Resident Evil when I was 7, but there's puzzles in that game, and that helped me in life to sit there and solve stuff outside of video games. So I definitely see that as a good thing.
I mean, you know what else does that? Woodworking. Shout out to the woodworkers.
They're back, baby.
They're back.
All right, we'll move on to the next one. So, how do you guys feel about video game merchandise? Is there too much? Is there not enough? Is it too broad? Is there too many things that the video game merchandise is on? Is it too narrow? Is there not enough? How do you guys feel about that?
I'm starting off this one. I feel like everyone knows where I'm going with it. Get that stuff the F out of here. Right off.
You really want to lose on this topic, Jeremy? On that opinion, man?
How do I feel? Is there too much or not enough merchandise? There's too much. You're asking, there's too much of everything, really. But of merchandise especially, there's too much. And then you got a bunch of merchandise that doesn't even work anymore. What was the name of those toys that Nintendo was putting out to work with the Wii U, the Wonder Years? What was it called? What toys were those? Where you'd get them and you'd put them on a little port and they'd scan in and they'd be characters in your game?
Those still work. Amiibos.
Real good research, Jeremy. Yeah, they still work. They work in Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah, right? Like, ridiculous. Just put the bleeping things in the game. Didn't they stop making those?
No.
They can't stop making them?
No, they just can't.
Well, they should stop making them.
Look at this guy minus
because they could just put them in the game. Why do I need to go out and buy a toy to get something that you can just put in your game? Do you know what this is? This is you know how they talked about like the ripoff of like on disc content being blocked off? That's essentially what that is. That's on disc content being blocked off that you have to buy a toy in order to access. Too much merchandise. There's a bunch of other stuff out there for every single game and every single concept that runs across. You got to have toys and figurines and posters. I mean, it's too much. Stuffed animals is too much stuff. There's some things, obviously, I'm not saying fully get rid of merchandise. You want some ways to be able to represent that you enjoy things or stuff like that, or that you have an affinity for a certain project, but it's way too much. Get rid of it. Do we need as much Star Wars figurines as is out there? Get it out of here. Throw it in a lake of fire. I mean, what are we doing here?
Go ahead, David, if you're going to award him any points. I can't.
I'm going to award him a point for saying the disc thing. They're withholding things within the game just to make you purchase something just to add it into the game. But I'm taking away a point because you were all like, remember these things that they used to make when they still make them?
Good point.
Sure.
Amiibos, a very popular thing
Amiibos.
that's still at GameStop. Now listen, Jeremy, you're a Scrooge. I don't know why you're like this. I don't know what happened, but I remember being a kid and loving video games, and you could not go and find a shirt. You could not find shoes of your favorite video game characters. God forbid, you could definitely not find any toys of them at all. The stores weren't selling them. So now that there's this like huge merchandise, explosion of video games, it is awesome. I love being an adult and having all this merchandise, but I would love to be a kid right now, being able to show off my Fortnite shirt. They have Fortnite toys, Roblox toys. That'd be awesome. I played with wrestlers and I liked wrestlers, but man, what I would have gave for like a Link toy or Samus or Mario or Cloud. Like they have David, I'm sure like you would have collected Resident Evil figures when you were younger or something. It would have been awesome. They have these Resident Evil figures. They do, right? I mean, they have to.
Yeah, they had a few when I was younger, but it was only like one set. But now it's just...
It's awesome. You can enjoy this stuff. And as an adult, I get to enjoy it because I thankfully have a little bit of expendable income. Something like you would have never imagined Legos based on video games. They have Mario sets now. There's a Zelda set coming out in a little bit. They were just announced a pack. Like this is so cool that video games are mainstream and they're getting the toys, they're getting the shirts, they're getting the Legos, they're getting board games. Like, are you kidding me? Board games based on my favorite games? Awesome. Throw the merchandise and keep it coming because who's it hurting? It's not hurting anybody. Jeremy, you keep doing this along with mobile gaming. You keep trying to exclude, like it's not hurting anyone. You're not getting attacked by a Fortnite shirt when you enter Target. All right, man, let it be.
This is a ridiculous. For one, that is a ridiculous straw argument. For one, I've never said straw man argument. For one, I've never said that you shouldn't have merchandise. I said there's too much. Oh yeah, what's great nowadays? It got board games of games. You need a game of a game, buddy. You need a game of a game.
It makes people happy. It's fun.
Yeah, you know why it's fun? Because the game was fun, but you can still play because the other game exists. You can just play that game. Okay, so it's great to have a Zelda shirt. Cool. You gotta have 50 of them, buddy. You gotta have more. You gotta have more shirts than days of the year for a single IP. That's absurd.
Why not? Why not? If you want it, why not? They're making movies now. I know that's not technically merchandise.
If you want cocaine, why not? That is not a great argument.
The movie, I think in Portland it's legal or something, right? Oregon or Portland?
Portland's
exactly.
a cool place. Why it might be Colorado.
Portland's a cool place.
Portland is amazing.
Like I know movies aren't merchandise, but like the 1989 Mario movie or whatever it was stunk. This one is great. I can't believe it. It's a great movie. And like we could have never imagined this, 15, 20 years ago. This is a great place to be. There can never be enough.
Wow. Well, I gave you a point for your nice little rant there, Cory.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
It's I don't understand. It's the argument that having too much is totally fine because I don't have to get all of it.
Have you seen the room that I'm recording in?
No, yeah.
It is only merchandise.
Exactly.
I love it. It's great, man. I can't even imagine like what kid Cory would have walked into this room and he would have gave me a big hug and said, "Thank you, adult Cory." It's okay, son. Invest in Bitcoin. That's what I would have told him.
That's smart. You should have told him. Well, maybe if 7-year-old, maybe 5-year-old, tell him to invest in Yahoo or Google. That really would have paid off. Yeah,
I know.
All right. Anything else for that one?
I'm good. I've never seen Jeremy so.
No, I'm good. I'm good. I can feel that my wisdom is being lost on this topic, so I'm good.
All right. Now for the last mystery question, I think this will be a good one because it can go either way.
Okay.
We'll see. What is the ultimate snack while you're gaming?
The ultimate snack.
It could be beverages and food. Doesn't have to be just food.
Okay. The ultimate snack.
Like a lot of people who don't game make fun of gamers and say, "Oh, you're eating your Doritos and Mountain Dew." Is it Doritos and Mountain Dew?
Nah.
Is it anything else?
Man, I guess I'll go first. I don't really like going first. It's giving Jeremy time to think. When Jeremy has time to think, he's a little bit smarter than usual.
He's a machine.
But I will say it is a combo, kind of like Doritos and Mountain Dew, but a little bit classier. I would say it's the combo of taquitos and Slurpees. Now, it's a great combo to game with. Slurpees are delicious. They're refreshing. They're cold. They have many different flavors, so you can pick your favorite flavor, and you can get different flavors as you slurp. You know, you're not just stuck with Mountain Dew flavor. You can get cherry, blue raspberry, and taquitos are just, you know, from 7-Eleven as well. They're greasy, they're delicious, they're filling. They come in that little bag, because the problem I have with snacking while gaming is I don't like to get my controllers dirty. Like, I make my wife wash her hands, you know, after eating anything. Like, well, no, you just took a bite of pizza, go wash your hands and you can get back on the controller. But taquitos come in that little bag, so you can snack on them and not worry about your hands getting greasy, and they're delicious. And they also have many different varieties. You can get 3 for $4 or something like that. It's been a while, but they're delicious. So taquitos and Slurpees, I think that's the ultimate gamer snack. It comes in a bag, comes in a cup. You don't have to worry about kind of like holding it and getting stuff dirty. So ultimate snack right there.
Nice.
Thank you.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to go with, I can go generic, but I think I'm going to stick with I'll give you specific brands. Okay.
Okay.
So, and here's the thing. I already know what's coming with this. I'm going to say this, and Corey's going to come with the, either hoity-toity or, you're cheating. You're appealing to the masses. I already know what's coming with this.
Oh, no. What is David's favorites? He looked up your favorites. Oh, this is Jeremy's a real. Okay, go ahead, Jeremy. I'm not going to interrupt you. I don't want to lose any points this episode.
I haven't. So here's what you're going to do. For snacks, your chip, I'm going to go with the venerable. You're going to say, oh, no, but I have a solution for it. So hot Cheetos. Okay? Hot Cheetos. And I got a solution for that, buddy. Okay? I'm going hot Cheetos, and I'm going with either a Smart or Fiji water. Okay? Now, let me break this down. Now, I know the first thing, Corey, if you're not watching, he did the thing, fingers, fingers. I know they turn your fingers red. Well, no bleep. Here's what you do. You crush them in the bag. You open them up. You're accessing bag only, bag to mouth, right? Your fingers ain't touching it. So you're not getting anything on your fingers. Now you're getting the heat. You're getting the heat from the hot Cheetos. What does heat do? It wakens up your senses. It opens up your pores. It gets the blood going. It gets the people going. All right. Then what do you got? You got your Smart or your Fiji water. Okay. These are, if you want to go with the Poland Spring, if you like spring water, you can go with that too. Okay. I'm not judging you. You've got the water, cold water, not only to offset the heat, to keep you in the game, but it's, again, another refreshing drink of something to keep you alive, to keep you going, to keep you winning. Okay. No matter what you're doing, whether you're playing a platformer or a first-person shooter, the fire from the Flaming Hots are going to get you up, it's going to get you going, it's going to get you live. And the water is going to make sure it keeps you calm and cool, collected. Hey, tough match. Take a swig of water. Let's chill out. Let's get ready for the next one. Hey, we got to make this push. Bag hot Cheetos, get a little bit in there. Oh, I got the fire going. Let me go ahead and get this last kill. All right. It is Flaming Hots, and it is either a Fiji, a Smart, or, again, a Polish Spring if you want to do that.
All right, Jeremy, I'm not going to dog you as much as you think I was going to dog you. Now, Flaming Hot, that is a good idea to stop your fingers, because I'm kind of a germaphobe. Like I said, anytime my fingers, I got to wash them. So picking them out of the bag is a no-go. So that is a good solution. But you picked really weird flavors. For one, you picked Flaming Hot, which a lot of people don't even like spicy food. Now, if this is just for you, then fine. You can pick whatever you want. But he made it seem like it was the ultimate. Everyone, should try this combo. And spice is just not for a lot of people, myself included.
You picked taquitos.
But there are variety flavors of taquitos. There are at least 4 or 5 different chicken and cheese, steak and cheese, cream cheese, and blah, blah, blah. It's a breaded snack with some meat and cheese in the middle.
Breaded with what?
I don't know what the breading is. It's a wrap.
Well, traditionally, taquitos are breaded in tortillas, so you have to be someone that likes tortillas, right?
Tortilla. Well, I mean, tortillas are pretty like normal. It's like the stuff inside that's.
It's a normal.
I think tortillas are one of the most popular food choices in the entire world. If I had to guess, they're very popular. Anyways, yes, you pick the spicy food that's like maybe not for everyone, and then you go with flavorless water. Flavorless, like there is no flavor there. I picked the Slurpee, which is very cool and refreshing, and you can pick one of like 10 flavors at 7-Eleven. You can get what you choose. You chose water, man. Water?
Okay, yeah. Let me go
It doesn't even have electrolytes.
Let me go ahead and have taquito.
Gatorade or Propel.
Let's go ahead and have taquito, right? Which is traditionally a Mexican dish, which has some kind of seasoning and spice, which may not agree with people. And let me top that off with a icy, sugary drink so I can be super cool and then crash 40 minutes later after I'm done. Right. And then also let me get a good solid 5 sips in the beginning and then have to spend the rest of the time waiting for it to melt more so I can get more sips. So then not only am I having to compete against the game, I'm having to compete against time and nature for this ice melting so I can get my sips. What are you even talking about? You're over here,
you know, it's great.
Freaking Mexican food and a dialysis machine or an IV and saying that that's somehow better. I don't think so.
Hey, you know what? You know what? At least with the Slurpee, I can pick it up and drink it without really taking my eyes off. You have to take both hands to unopen the Fiji water bottle. That's only relevant. That's only relevant in between games. You can't really take a sip while holding on to the controller like you could a Slurpee. The Fiji, you have to use both hands to undo the cap. It's ridiculous.
The most
and if you keep the
besides Elon Musk's Twitter account, the most unpredictable thing is where the heck the straw from the Slurpee is going to go once you're moving it place after a while. Hey, I want you to come down here. Come down right. No, I'm going to go down left. Like, come on, man. You can't just, you're going to have to take a peek and say, all right, is the straw in the right place? All right, cool. Slurp, slurp. Oh, just got 2 slurps that time. Let me set it down and wait another half hour so it can melt some more.
I think, like I said, I wasn't going to dog your snack. You seem to dog mine quite a bit, which is a little bit unfortunate. I thought you were going to take the high road.
Because mine is a very nice, clean.
Jeremy, the high road.
Nice. That thing's so spicy. Spicy. Those Cheetos are so spicy. I can't handle them. I tried to give the audience members variety. I gave something where there's 10 flavors of Slurpee and anywhere from 3 to 6 different flavors of taquitos. Mexican is a very popular cuisine choice around the world. Most people like it. More people like Mexican than hot spicy Cheetos, in my opinion.
You are probably technically correct, but that's still but we're not talking about the best combo for people snacking. We're talking for you're playing a game. You're gaming. I mean, come on, man. When it comes to it, them hot Cheetos is going to get you hot. They're going to get you going.
Okay,
the most bland drink. The most.
This has been an amazing debate. I did not expect such you two going at it as much as this. It's really funny. I gave you guys both 2 points. You guys both made good points. I liked both of your choices, and I liked both of you flaming each other for it.
Huh. Flaming.
So.
Flaming hot.
I did love flaming hot Cheetos. I usually eat them all the time, but they have.
If we wanted to win, Jeremy, we would have both picked the smoothie.
I can't eat them anymore.
If we wanted to win, we would have picked smoothie.
Specifically, smoothie.
What I usually eat is a snack bar of some sort, and usually a carbonated water.
So like a flavors, but like a Lar bar and like a what is it called? Aha or something.
Aha, bubbly water or Waterloo.
Yeah.
Roy, Polar. There's so many of them. I had no idea, and so I started drinking them.
I don't really snack while gaming.
I
have to stop. I have to stop gaming to snack and then go back. Like I can't do it while I'm gaming. It's too much, man. It's too much.
I kind of follow it. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a little bit of sensory overload.
I hate it. I hate it on my hands, man. I can't do it.
I feel you. That's funny. I found it really funny. You're like, you ate pizza, go wash your hands.
Yeah, 100%. She gets so mad. I don't have anything on my hands. There's a little bit of grease on there, I'm sure.
Sure. Especially like if you had like an Xbox Series S or Xbox One S or PS5, you got those white controllers. You better stay 50 feet away from my
dirty
system.
Quick.
Yeah.
David, you can attest to this, but like having a child, like
Oh my god, yeah. I let him
picked up
play on my computer, and I come back after he's done. I'm like, what is this?
Come back and there's a
Kingdom came
Funyun
out,
inside the PC.
picked up my Switch Pro controller, and it was crusty. I'm like, what? Where did he even get this? Why is there stuff? I had to do a deep clean. Disgusting.
Sit there with a Q-tip and alcohol.
Yes. Yeah. Alcohol swab. Yep.
That's funny. All right, let's see where we're at.
Let's see, Jeremy.
For Cory, I have 8 points.
Respectable.
8
is great.
For Jeremy,
Come on.
I have
Come on.
6 points.
I tried to be humble.
Absolute outrage.
It was a very close game.
Jeremy, why'd you go
rather.
against merchandise, man? Why? That was career suicide, man.
That's in my spirit. That is in my spirit. That is true to my identity.
Listen, that wasn't the main thing, because if he didn't say about the amiibos not being made anymore or whatever,
what cost me was being factually incorrect.
You both would have gotten the same amount of points from that.
Yeah. No, yeah, that's fair. No, yeah, that's fair. If I'm factually incorrect, I probably shouldn't win. That's a good call.
But you had one more point in the first question, and he just lost that point in the fourth.
Yeah.
question. So
I'll take it.
It was really close.
All right.
So yeah, guess judges just aren't your thing.
No, they're not. You know, I appreciate the level of intelligence that you bring on a weekly basis, David, and you're actually in the gaming sphere. You know, you listen and you pay attention to the going-ons. And I love Josh. Big bearded Josh. Great man. Cody is okay, not the best, but I feel like there's a little bit of there's some holes in their gaming knowledge, and Jeremy extorted them, exposed it, and he worked it. Unfortunately, they're victims. So
this is what happens, David. This is what you did.
This is the way.
I didn't do it.
Yeah, you did.
Hey, who won the last time you were the judge? I don't want to hear it.
I made mistakes. Yeah.
Mistakes were made yet again.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what a bad feeling is? Losing and then having to wrap the show. Jeremy, back to you.
Welp, unfortunately, that was level 65 of the Thoughts and Players podcast. If you liked what you heard, please subscribe to the podcast on all the podcast services. Yes, even Apple Podcasts, which seems to not like us right now.
Where's it at?
I don't know. We're working on it. You can also follow the podcast on the socials. We are on Facebook at facebook.com/Thoughts and Players. That's all one word. We're also on Instagram at thoughts.players. We are on TikTok, and we are on YouTube at Thoughts Players, where you can catch video versions of the podcast. And lastly, but not leastly, we are on Patreon. If you're digging what we're doing, be sure to check out, see what we got, see if it floats your boat. We got 2 $5, $7 tiers. Thinker, player, all around Slayer. Check it out. They each have nice little perks. We got some exclusive Patreon stuff coming up, like our Kena Bridge of Spirits review, which I have not recorded yet, but it is in progress. And we're also going to be starting off our bonus series of our top 50 games of all time. So that will be going there. But if you can't do that, just a like, a share, a comment would be appreciated. That is it for me. Fellas, is there anything else you want to say?
No.
That is it for us. We will catch you on the next level.